Welcome to Acecaponersc Show. I am your host. Welcome back. We are going to talk about NIL, Biden, the Hinton trial, and this balloon that they've been trying to cover up. But before we get started, the link down below is for my Rumble and X. Also, we have PayPal and Cashapp if you want to donate to the channel. Because we always are wanting to improve. But let's get into it. I have always been in opposition of paying college kids to play college sports. Why? Well, if you're going to a college, the purpose of the college is to educate you, prepare you for the world, to give you a skill to go out into the world and to become something, a career. If you want to be a professional student, you are more than welcome to do that. But in this country, our universities are to improve the individual. Whether that individual wants an art degree or that individual wants to become a doctor, you have those individual options to choose from. Now, if you choose to get that arts degree, you know you're going to be in an unemployment line. And if you choose to have a doctorate degree in medicine, you're going to have a job. No, it's not a job, but you're going to have a career where you can make decisions that will control your life. And too many people choose the arts degree or the communications degree or the psychology degree, all worthless degrees in this society, but they do it anyway. And they proudly say that they are highly educated. And I am here to say that college athletes who get a free education into a top university, or even if it's a lower level university, you're still getting that free ride. And I always equate it to, if you get an option to go into a bank and they say you have 4 minutes equal to your 4 years to run into the bank and we will open the vault for you. You run in and you can grab anything you want. And many people will run into the bank and grab 4 boxes of pennies and throw some on their shoulders and run out. And then when they get out, they're like, man, I'm broke. You have people that are smart enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to run in and grab all the packs of hundreds that I can handle, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to be well taken care of. And according to NIL, you have kids who are getting paid right out of high school. And some right now, they're recruiting these kids out of high school, which I think is a big mistake, because these kids are not learning the value of life, nor are they learning the value of hard work. But let's take a look at it.
As the issue of name, image, and likeness makes its way to a possible conclusion and regulation in the world of college athletes, the United States government is getting involved as the courts continue to sort out the issue. Alabama Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville and former Alabama coach Nick Saban met with President Donald Trump to discuss possible NIL reform measures before Trump was set to deliver the commencement address at the University of Alabama. Before that meeting, Tuberville spent his time in a radio interview 100.9's The Game with Ryan Fowler on Wednesday, playing the blame game aimed explicitly at Democrats. I think we can get it on the floor. The problem is getting it past a Democrat group that really wants nothing to do with making this country better. They don't care about college sports or education. They worry about the power that they control in this country. It's a hard way to go, but if anybody can get it done, it's President Trump, and hopefully we can have some discussion to get on the right track toward helping the NIL in college sports, Tuberville said. Tuberville also had an issue with the transfer portal, which has run rampant in the past few years, where athletes can essentially switch schools every year without penalty. Everybody would be on the same level. We've got to come up with some rules for the transfer portal, possibly a contract for players. Tuberville said, we do not want to turn into minor league sports. I talked to Auburn men's basketball coach Bruce Pearl a few weeks ago. He says it's a disaster, absolute disaster in basketball, and I'm sure it goes over into football and some of the other sports.
There you have it. This NIL thing from the start was just a way for people with greedy hands to get their hands on these kids and exploit them. They know many of them will never go to the NFL, and basically you are destroying the educational institutions that we have. The reason why people love college football is because when you get a 5-star or a 4-star recruit, or maybe even a 3-star recruit, and that guy is developed in that program and he runs through that scheme and he develops and he becomes from a high school player to a college to a almost ready for pro player, you see that development. The skills are seen. What you see today in college sports, you have underdeveloped kids. You have kids that are jumping from system to system. They just want to play. They don't care about becoming better. And this is why you go to the NFL and you have guys dropping passes and you're just like, wow, this guy gets paid to do what? He gets paid to drop passes. He gets paid to miss blocks. And then when they get more money in the NFL, they say, well, you know what? My contract isn't big enough. He sits out. You're getting a very low quality product in the NFL, and you're getting a very low grade product in college football. I can't tell you the many missed assignments, missed tackles, missed passes, missed blocks that you see in the college ranks, because you have people who are out here saying, hey, I'm not getting paid. That guy's getting paid more than me. Why should I have to block for him? It brings forth jealousy and envy. It brings forth a lack of loyalty to the schools, because people see the university as, well, what can you pay me to come and play for you? And just as last year, you get a team that the best money can pay for. You're not getting the best school. You're saying, hey, they paid a lot of money for those players. They should have a great result. You have players that are bouncing every year to different programs because they're saying, hey, they're paying me. I will run over here. If you pay me, I'll play. And then, but if it gets to the ball game, I don't want to play because I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to get caught up and ruin my chances to go into the NFL. And as the case of Deion Sanders' son, hey, I don't even want to try out in the combine because you already know what I can do. And you wonder why his draft status slumped, because the guy was too arrogant. He thought he was too good for everyone, being that he made $4 million. This is what all the people who were crying about Deion Sanders' son totally missed. This boy made $4 million in college for a subpar team that didn't produce anything, that didn't beat any top ranked teams. A guy that went 13-12 is crying about his draft status. And you had all these woke activists crying on ESPN saying, oh, he should have gone higher. No, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have gotten any money. His father's already rich. Why is he getting paid more? He should have gone to Colorado and say, hey, thankful for being here. Thank you. I want to add to the tradition and the legacy of this school and bring you a championship, which he didn't do. But he wanted to get paid. And he was waving Rolexes out to the crowd, driving Mercedes. That's more than most of the people who paid to get into the game. And this guy wants to flex. So no, I think the president should step in. The government should come in because right now it's out of control. The NCAA is impotent to do anything to rein in this disastrous plan to pay kids. I think you should get one transfer. I think you can get one transfer and you have to stay at the school that you choose. That will give the school power, because Nick Saban, I truly believe he got out of college football because of NIL. Because as a coach who's making $7 million a year, if you got players who are getting possibly half of what you make, you're not going to tell that kid what to do. And the fact that he can bounce around to different programs says you have lost all leverage as a coach. You can't discipline your team. The players are no longer afraid and they will not listen. They'll say, well, shoot, I don't have to listen to you. I get paid. I can jump to another school. So you basically destroyed the authority at the program. And you'll get people like you have the Des Bryants, the guys that are out here getting in trouble off the field. You know, like the guy over, what's that boy's name, who played for Kansas City, then went down to Miami, got pulled over because he was speeding and got an attitude with the cop, then tried to yell racism. You get these undesirable individuals who make a lot of money who become more undesirable individuals. And we don't need those people in our society. We don't need those people as role models. You have a bunch of cocky kids who are out here not producing. They're not the athletes of old. Trust me, they're not. Because even Tom Brady said the quality of football has gone down. And I think they need to come in, put in some regulations on how much money a kid can make per year, how many transfers you can make, put stipulations on you having to graduate, because this has really gotten out of hand. You're basically using the schools as a money tool and a springboard to get to the NFL. And that's not what the university should have more pride in themselves and say, hey, this is an institution of learning. This isn't an institution of jocks who just come here to bounce out. These institutions have sold their souls to NIL. They let these kids come in. They disrespect the school. They go there just to say, how much can you pay me? And then they leave. They don't care about being graduates of those universities. You go back. I'm sorry, I'm biased towards USC, but the simple fact of the matter is when you graduate with a legacy of Heisman Trophy winners and Rose Bowls and championships, you are proud to be a member of that school, to be a graduate of that school, to have contributed to that legacy. You can say, hey, I was on that team that won the championship. Hey, we won our conference. Anything. But these kids now are like, you're just a road bump, just a speed bump in my quest to get all the money, get the bag. So basically you're feeding this rap culture in sports. You have kids who are trying to act like rappers wearing gold chains and carrying on, but they have nothing afterwards. If you look at the broader picture, you have all these kids going into college, getting a little bit of money, and then they're leaving college broke because they're not producing anything. They're not getting education. They just got a little bit of money. And that's once again, we're going back to the teaching a man how to fish or giving him the fish. They're giving you the fish. And you're too dumb to understand that fish is, after I eat it, there will be no more. Because if you have no education and no skills, I don't care what people are saying. They're saying, they're going to invest that money. No, they're not, because their mothers, their uncles, their siblings are going to be with their hands out saying, give me some of that. Because it happens at the pro level. And you're talking about kids in college. And you don't think their parents are trying to take that money, you're out of your mind. If you don't think they're squandering that money, you're out of your mind. So basically, you're setting up kids for failure. And we understand from the NFL, when these guys run out of money, they start committing crimes. So you're producing generations of failed kids with no skills, because once your eligibility is gone, you're gone. You're just going to pay to go to college on your own, which you know that those kids aren't. So I hope Trump and Saban and Tuberville can get something going, get the bill onto the floor, get it passed, because Congress should understand. NIL was pushed onto the NCAA, and it's up for Congress to say, hey, let's resolve this so we can save the sanctity of college football and sports in general. Joe Biden came out of his crypt and popped up on The View.
Craig, Tanya, a very emotional news.
And
it is very difficult to process how much has happened since Joe Biden was last at this table in September. We have so much to talk to him about right now. So we're not going to fool around. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Why is this guy always trying to run? He's going to trip. If he would have fallen. I wonder if they bust those people in. Ana Navarro is a midget with a fupa.
They like you, they miss you.
Yeah.
I miss being here.
Yeah.
But hold on. Isn't she supposed to be a conservative? I don't know any conservatives that would jump up to applaud and greet Joe Biden the way she just did. This woman's nothing but a liberal wearing Republican clothing. She doesn't hold any conservative views or values, and she is for everything liberal.
I'm actually interviewing for a job as a cameraman, but
We are beyond happy to have you here today for a lot of different reasons. But my question is, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm well. The family's well, thank God. Things are moving along, and we're getting squared away, trying to figure out what the most significant and consequential role I can play consistent with what I've done in the past. Mm-hmm. I'm writing another book.
Good.
Like 6,000 people.
Yeah, he's writing a book because he stole those documents and gave it to his ghostwriter, and he is wanting to make millions of dollars upon the other $1 million he siphoned from the Ukraine. This guy is a walking indictment. I don't understand why he's walking around free.
I got to write a presidential memoir.
Oh, boy.
But they told me they had to.
Oh, there's some books coming out about Joe Biden, too, talking about his mental incompetence and how they covered it up.
To do it within a year. No one's ever done one in a year. Will you help me out?
No, that's a long time. It's too short. Too short.
Joy could be your ghostwriter. She'd add a little color to it all. But, Mr. President, last time you were here was a little over a month before the election, and you had made the selfless and very difficult decision, I'm sure, to step aside. And Democrats were feeling optimistic about the vice president's chances of winning the presidency. But then election night came, and it was like 2016 all over again. Yeah. So why do you think the vice president lost, and were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised, not because I didn't think the vice president was the most qualified person to be president. She is. She's qualified to be president of the United States of America. Right. But I was surprised. I wasn't surprised because they went the route of the sexist route, the whole route. I mean, this is a woman. She's this. She's that. I mean, it really. I've never seen quite as successful and a consistent campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country. And
She lost because she was associated with you. She was gone for 3 years of your administration. No one heard from her. No one knew anything about her. She lost because she was the border czar, then tried to pretend she wasn't. She couldn't separate herself from any of your policies because when they asked her what you would do differently, she had not a clue. This is why she lost. Had nothing to do with her gender. It had nothing to do with, woman of color. Now she's black. Then she's a mixed race person. Now she's just a woman of color. You know, Democrats are the most racist people I have ever encountered. These people love to label everyone. You're not a human being. You are a sex. You're a color. You're a religion. You're some type of newfound organism that they just produced. They just can't keep it right. They just can't. And Joe Biden sitting on a panel of sycophants with their heads all the way securely up his backside. They're not asking any real questions. They say, "Hey, Joe, what about all this missing money? Hey, what about this book?" And when he said he's having a book, they should have said, "Yeah, what about you making money on those documents that you stole, that you haven't returned?" I don't think he's even returned all the documents. I think that the FBI should be doing an investigation on him right now and throwing his backside in jail. This dude is a crook. And he's done it at the expense of America. And he goes out on this, he waddles out, and he has to be saved by his wife in this interview. It's embarrassing how these people sat there and kissed his backside, and his wife, as always, interjecting and putting herself in, because she was the one that was calling the shots in the White House, along with Kamala's husband. And it's already been said through the reports. People who are in the White House said that he didn't even go to meetings. He was asleep by 4:30. And in this interview, they were talking about picking up the phone at 11 o'clock at night. Joe Biden wouldn't have picked it up. His wife would have said, "Hold on, I'm making decisions. What do you need?" She would have been with Kamala's husband when she picked up the phone in the bedroom. But aside from that, there's another report coming out about Joe Biden and how they covered up that balloon that was floating around that Joe Biden pretended not to know about. But it comes out here that this is from NBC News, that they knew about it and they met with the Chinese before they came out with the information. And this is written by Courtney Cube and Carol Lee. Weird name. It says Friday evening last January, General Glenn Van Herk, the Air Force commander in charge of defending American airspace from foreign intrusion, called President Joe Biden's top military advisor, Mark Milley. That bum needs to be thrown in jail. U.S. intelligence official had just notified the general that for roughly 10 days they had been tracking a mysterious and enormous object flying over the Asia Pacific. Van Herk told Milley the object had crossed into the U.S. airspace over Alaska, and Van Herk said he planned to dispatch military jets to fly alongside it and assess what it was. They basically found out that it was just a weather balloon, and it was pretty big. They didn't shoot it down because they said it was too big and the falling debris would fall on people. But they should have shot it down when it was over Alaska because Alaska is sparse. The spy balloon exposed an increasingly brazen China's competitive advances miles above the Earth and brought the most critical relationship in the world to one of the lowest points in recent history. And I'm surprised at this use of China's competitive advances. What the hell does that mean? China's competitive advances. China's spying. China's being sneaky. And these people, you have to understand, China invests in many of our corporations. They have a lot of influence, especially in our news organizations, in our corporations. These guys, this is why when tariffs are being bounced about, you have certain elements of our society that are defending China. Nearly a year later, U.S. relations with China have not fully recovered, and officials from the two nations have apparently not discussed the incident in detail. This is a soft article. There was another article that I read. I can't pull up right now, but basically they said that they contacted China, and they were finding a way how to present it to the American people. They had known about this for days. They didn't tell anybody. So once again, Joe Biden, who was bought and sold by the Chinese, his son took $1.45 billion from the Chinese for his hedge fund, which totally just disappeared and no one talked about. No one even asked about it. Hunter Biden was a money pit. That guy went around the world to get money for his daddy, and no one questioned it. But his dad got money from the Chinese, from a Russian oligarch, and he got money from the Ukraine. This guy should not be broke. Hunter Biden's, though, it should be living in luxury. But Joe Biden didn't shoot it down. They shot it down once they got all the information that it needed about America, and then they shot it down outside the Carolinas. So you can go all across America. We have deserts everywhere. You didn't bother to shoot it down. You have empty land all across middle America. You didn't shoot it down. You waited till it got to the other end of America when it was done, and then you shot it down. That means that you are complicit, as well as being incompetent. And he should have been impeached over that alone. But spineless Republicans and these sellout Democrats don't care about America. But enough of him. This guy, Hinton Jr., the gentleman who ran over the retired policeman who was trying to just control traffic at a graduation, he has his trial. His family was speaking at a press conference. Let's get into it.
Craig, Tanya, a very emotional news conference wrapping up. You had family members multiple times breaking down into tears. It's obvious that this is still very fresh and very painful for them. We heard from attorneys representing the estate of Ryan Hinton, along with his own family, grandfather, grandmother, little sister, cousin. They wanted to share more about how they are remembering Hinton after his death. But the press conference began with attorneys offering condolences to the family of retired Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson. They'd consider his death another tragic loss. Family called the media here to speak on the life of Ryan Hinton, but also to raise questions after reviewing body camera footage from his death. Their main question is this: was the officer justified in using deadly force?
As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there trying to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too.
We're also learning more new information tonight. Hinton's family says he attended Don High School before it shut down. He was not in school at the time of his death. Family and attorneys didn't dispute.
You know, the family comes out, and I think that they should be concerned. Yeah, you know, you can question the fact that, hey, was the shooting necessary? But you can't second guess an officer at a moment when adrenaline is high. You have, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, a dumbass who fell asleep in a stolen car with three other idiots, and you have a gun and an extended magazine in your pocket. You are running with the gun in your hand and you fall. You get up, and according to the testimony of the policeman, you are pointing the gun. You're not too bright. It's sort of like that scene in the what was the movie? Was that Casino or no? It was Goodfellas. He says the only people that get caught in crimes are dumb N-words because they fall asleep in the getaway car. This is that moment. You had 4 idiots falling asleep in a stolen car. The police pull up. They jump out. They start to run. This guy has a gun. You're not too bright, man. And the family should be answering, why was he out in the middle of the night if he's that young with a gun in his hand? Whose gun was it? So I'm like, you're just getting you're just wanting to lose. You wanted to lose really badly. You're like, you know what? This isn't bad enough. Let me just do something more stupid, like running with the gun in my hand, to put myself in the loser box. Let me get a go to hell quickly card by running with a gun in my hand while the police are present. Not a smart individual, man. And your father, who didn't know where you were, wants to see the video. Then he goes around and he hits a cop who has nothing to do with this situation. And he's over there sticking his chest out as if he's done something. And you have the pro-blackity blacks out here praising this man as a hero. Talk about losers. People who just have no standards or no morals. Hitting some man who's doing his job had nothing to do with the death of your son. You know, I would have had more respect for him if he would have said he hunted down the officer. But that's not what he did. If you would have confronted the officer, I would have said, hey, you know what? I can't really argue with you that much. But you ran over an innocent person who was directing traffic, and you're out here with your chest out. But you know, you have to understand that this family isn't wrapped too tight. Basically, they're probably a family run by women, because these men are very, very emotional and they can't control themselves. They make stupid decisions after stupid decision. And this was evident at the courthouse.
I just want my brother to see me. Take a breather. I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me. My brother can't see me. They did this shit before. They did this shit before.
That's not the way to do it.
They did it before. I got video of them messing with my brother and me before. I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me. I ain't do nothing to him. That's my family. That's my family in that door.
Come on.
Ray, please.
Come on.
Ray, please. You want all that? Man, see me one-on-one, man. Now that fucking motherfucker here for my brother, man. Ray, please.
And what was all that about? I saw an emotional man who probably has a history with the police himself, basically the family is just a bunch of criminals. They just can't be right. The black men are wallowing in crime with no future. And you have people making excuses for these such individuals in the black community. And it just puts a stain on the black community because people start to look at things like this and say, this is what black people are all about. And I say that this is not what black people are about. This is the bottom of the barrel. If there was a thing called black trash, this would be those people. The black trash is basically trying to become the standard of black America. And they're not the standard because they never want to talk to black people who are successful. They never ask the opinions of people who oppose these type of individuals. They love to show these individuals because it is the mission of the media to typecast all black people, whether it's in the movies, commercials, or in society. They degrade the image of black people at will. And when you control the media, you control the narratives. And you have black people on television, like the individuals on CNN and MSNBC and ESPN, who basically co-sign these losers, and they make excuses for them. Whether it's NIL, when people who are athletes totally ignore the fact that education is key and getting a quality education will help people in poverty and stop people from using stupid terms like gender gaps and pay gaps between black and whites, because there is none. Black people shoot for the bottom when it comes to education, and white people shoot for higher levels in education. They get better, high-paying jobs, while people with psychology and communications and ethnic study degrees don't get jobs at all. So you can't compare yourself to people who are actually planning a future than people who just want to go to college to say that they got a degree. You cannot sit out here and commit crime and then yell racism because you get caught. And this is where black America is right now. A revolution is needed, but it's needed within the culture. The culture needs to be destroyed, and a new culture needs to be developed. Because right now, the culture is killing itself. And on that note, until next time, drop me a note, send me some donations. But until then, this is your boy, Ace Capone. Peace. And I'm gone.